Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. Hello and welcome to episode 36, Getting Into the Holidays, a Christmas special about Christmas. As always, I am Craig, and joining me as ever is Rebecca.
Rebecca?
Rebecca.
Wow, that's a new one.
It is a new one.
Just making up names.
It's a new one for a new day because it is episode 36.
Rebecca is here.
Rebecca is here. I am here. And we're here to talk.
What can we call you? Craig.
Craig.
Oh, no, that's still the same name.
Craig. I'm Craig. Hello. So today's episode, we're going to talk about what's hit our table, because we haven't spoken about what's hit our table recently, and some of the games we've been playing and enjoying, not necessarily new to us, but some new to us and some that we've played before. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to get into a lovely list of games that are ideal for the party season, games that we enjoy or looking forward to bringing out with the Famalama ding-dongs. That's what the cool kids say.
Or family for people who need a translation.
The cool kids call it the Famalama Ding Dongs.
I don't know. I work with the cool kids, and I don't think they say Famalama Ding Dong or whatever you just said.
Is that because they're giving something? You know, they're...
What?
You know, they say, like, the cool kids, they're like, oh, this is giving real peach vibes, or what, I don't know. Riz.
And skibbity and...
Yeah, I'm down with those.
Are you?
I'm down with the sickness. So yeah, then we're going to do that. Then we'll do some festive menus, and then we'll leave you to go about your day, really. So what has hit our table recently? What have you enjoyed playing recently?
It would be great if we had a stat app that kind of told us what we've been playing. However, I've been a bit remiss. And
not been statting anything.
Actually statting it. Yeah. So this is from the top of our head. No, we so yesterday we played a couple of games of Creature Comforts.
Yeah, now, back-to-back games.
We haven't had any of the. Is it
KTBG, yeah. Kids Table Board Games.
KTBG games before, although I've always thought that they looked really pretty and the artwork looks amazing.
Yes.
So we were keen to try one. So we purchased Creature Comforts and we tried to play it on Saturday, but it didn't work out so well because...
children.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
They weren't allowing us to play games. So we packed that away. And then finally we got 2 games of it played yesterday. And I really enjoyed it. It's one of those games. So essentially you get 2 family dice, which are your coloured dice. Yeah. And then there are 4 village dice.
Yeah, it's like the Taverns of Teeth and Fowl vibes that you have your own dice and then,
So you roll the dice. No, you roll your family dice. You place your workers based on the limited information that you have regarding your family dice.
And what resources you want to collect and things.
So you kind of hedge your bets, and then you roll the village dice, and you see if you can go to those spots and collect those resources. So it's kind of like a push your luck.
Yeah.
And will you be able to go to that spot? And
I like the fact that if you can't place a dice, like, you've gone on this adventure, but you haven't managed to succeed. So you've learned a lesson, and then you get something that helps modify the dice for your next turn kind of thing, which is nice.
It's interesting because one person takes their entire go, and then the next person takes their entire go.
Yeah.
But it's really tight for resources, a bit like viticulture, I suppose, in that there's lots of things you want to do. So initially I thought, oh yes, great, I'm going to collect loads of comforts, I'm going to get loads of improvements, but you actually, in the space of a game, you probably get 6 comforts, maybe, something like that.
Well,
if you've been strategic with your resources. But you can't do as much as I had hoped. However, the improvements do give you little incentives. So Sometimes you might get an improvement that allows you to change your dice so that you can make it better. Or there's an almanac where you get a lesson learned every season kind of thing.
And there's like extra worker placement spaces so that you can have in your own thing. So it's like the shared locations that there are in Everdell when you can go to like the inn and do that. But they have locations where you get a benefit from collecting like apples. If you go to the orchard, whoever owns the orchard will gain apples, but you'll gain apples too. So there's a lot of benefits to the
What I really liked about it was the actual rules are quite straightforward. So I feel like you could teach anybody the basic rules, and then the complexity of the game is in the strategizing and deciding what to do with your dice and where to go, because there's lots of spaces you can go, and none of them are necessarily blocked by other people using them. You can go to the same spots, which is quite nice. But the complexity in the game is in the strategy, I think, which I like, because sometimes after a day's work, you don't want to go, oh, right, what were the rules again? Like, I know I could put that game on the table, we'd know how to play it, just set it up and you just play.
Yeah.
But the thinking about what I'm going to do is where the game is at.
It's quite quick and easy to set up as well. So it is like one of those nice, like, light to medium weight games that you can just get up, set up, and play pretty quick. And it works really nicely at 2. I'm assuming we haven't played it with any more than that, but I'm assuming the scaling of it is quite good. It seems like it'll be quite nice.
The only thing I would say about that is that everybody needs to see the board.
Yeah.
And I can't see, it's a bit like Everdell, how 4 people can sit round the board.
Yeah.
And see all the cards.
It's one specific way around. You'd have to kind of place things on the table in a different way than it says in the setup. Yeah. That's the only thing. Yeah, that is the only thing. And it's not the biggest board. And if you did play that with 5 players, so then you've got 5 sets of 4 workers all over the place. Yeah. Then you've got dice all over the place. It becomes a bit of a mess of meeples and dice.
I almost feel like it could have been a mat.
Yeah, bigger board.
Because there are cards and things that don't fit on the board. They go on the side.
Yeah.
And there's no place for discard bars. You have to have them off the side of the board. So I feel like it could have been a roll-up mat. And
even just a bit. The board could have just been bigger, a bit bigger.
I think for 2 it works. I want to see how it works at 4.
I think for learning and playing it will be fine. I think for actual length of the game, I think as soon as you start going at a higher player count, I think the game will drag.
Well, you might get a bit bored.
It will drag on a little bit longer.
You'd have to wait for everybody to take their turn, and it's not like you're not waiting to see what you can do, because you know what the dice are.
Yeah, you know what.
Nobody is going to block your spot. They might take the card that you want, but that's literally.
Yeah.
It's the only.
Yeah, if you're the 4th or 5th player, then you're really going to struggle with like just waiting around for your turn. And I can imagine that being a bit more of an... And if you do have AP, like deciding where to put your meeples and where best to position your dice to get the best...
Oh, you could be overthinking that.
100%. But it's a nice game. That sort of weight game we've been playing quite a lot, really. We've been playing Cities, from Cosmos. That is a very fun game.
We saw... Nick play. Well, we talked to Nick about it.
We talked to Nick about it, yep.
And I've seen lots of people posting about it on Instagram, and I thought, oh yes, I do want to try that out.
And we played with Ali and Brian, didn't we? Always Play Blue.
Yes. So we played it, and I thought at 4, it's really good. Now there is a slight at 2. I don't know if we were playing it right. I think we were playing it right, but you get loads of scoring cards at 2.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel right. It feels like you've got way too many scoring cards.
Yeah. It feels like you can... So at 4, it's really tight. There's only a limited amount that you have to go to one of each of the things. There's a limited amount of things you can do. One of each row, yeah.
So you can choose...
one tile...
houses or buildings... Yeah. you can choose a tile, you can choose an attraction or something.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Oh, the scoring cards.
The scoring cards,
you should, a 4-player, which
Yeah.
I feel like is where it works best.
Yeah. It's
You
9
choose
rounds.
one of each. There's 4 options for each row. You choose one of those options.
Yeah.
And once you've chosen from a row, you can't then have anything else from that row. So you're kind of choosing which option's best for you and trying to strategize about which row to go to first, because you know that you might be left with something you don't want.
Yeah.
But at 2 players, you put 2
meeples down
on each row.
Yeah.
But then you just end up with so many scoring cards.
You end up with so many of everything.
It's almost
it takes the that crunchiness, that kind of it's really tight at 4. You really want to get that first player marker because you want to be able to go and get the best, most lucrative things for you because early. But at 2-player, you're like, oh well, I know I'm going to get that. If I lose that, I mean, it's no big deal. I can grab something similar,
because there are things like lighthouses that there's only 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
So they're really rare. So if you see one pop up, you want to get that. But I think at 2-player, there seems like there's too much availability of the different.
Yeah, resources. the lighthouse is difficult to get. But if you get one, and I'm the if it comes up again, you're not going to take another one. It will come again.
Might if you have
another lake, but it's more likely that it's just going to pop up again, and I'll be able to take it. So there's less of that urgency at 2-player. But it's such a good game. I'm assuming 3 and 4 are players. I think is definitely where it.
Yeah, I'm glad we've got it, but I definitely think it is a 4-player game.
Yeah,
I think you can make it work at 2, but if you only ever play it 2, you might be disappointed and think, what's all the fuss about? But if you play it at 4, you're like, okay,
No, I think it almost needs an AI kind of somewhere where the dozers are going to take the spaces.
The dozers.
Because it's all about Fraggle Rock.
I know.
So the way they're going to take the spaces, but that's been a really nice one.
We played Flip 7.
Flip 7,
which
here we go,
is really good game. It is it
is really good game.
I can't speak properly.
Don't worry about
what I was going to say is it has a really bad box, and then I was like, do I lead with that? No. It's a really good game.
It is
I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. And we played it with the girls, and they really got it. It's a bit like 21 with a hit and stick, and
stick and twist,
stick and twist or whatever. So do you want to keep having cards? But if you get 2 matching cards, then you're out of the round. You're trying to score 200 points. It's a really good fun one that I think you can bring out with family. It's really easy to teach. It's quick, and everybody can be involved, and it doesn't take too much brain power. End of the night, start of the night, it would be perfect. My bugbear is, why is it in a big box? Because it is literally a pack of cards.
Yeah.
And it could be packaged in a slide box. It could be packaged in a kind of stack box. It could be packaged in
in a card box.
It feels disingenuous that you've made a big box and put a small pack of cards in the middle with a load of cardboard around the outside, when you could have just made it a small box
it's a deck
game
of cards. Yeah.
Also, if you made it a small box game, people can take it to the pub, take it out, put it in their handbag, take it to Christmas dinner with their in-laws or whatever. But now you've made it a big box game. When it's just a card game, you can't take it out as easily. I just cannot understand the thinking behind it, other than they want it to have shelf presence. This is the only thing I can think of. Now, I might be completely wrong, and there might be a really good reason. It might be economically friendly to make that size box. I don't know. But I think it's more likely to do with shelf presence and the fact that it stands out on the shelf rather than a small box of cards. But that just doesn't feel right.
And people say I go on rants. But yeah, I agree with you.
The game's really good. Sell it on the card game.
But the other point, Yes, it's a big box, and we were talking about this yesterday. Like, okay, it's a big box. It's not a massive box, but it's bigger than a deck of cards needs to be. You could fit 3 of the decks in the box. It's that big. The other thing I find is that it's a race to 200 points. Like, you want to be the first to 200 points to win. That's quite a lot of numbers. 200 is quite a big score.
200 is quite a lot of numbers.
200 is quite a lot of zeros, isn't it, in Ting?
It's only 2 zeros.
Yeah, but with no score pad.
No
score pad, no score track.
No.
We did stat this one because we used the BG Stats app because you can add to it. Yeah. But other than people bringing up their calculator on their phone or whatever, like, you're limiting who can play this game anyway, because I know everyone's got a mobile phone and whatever, but really, that's not... If we're playing with the kids and everyone playing with your family, like, not all your kids have got mobile phones or devices that you're going to... So how are we going to remember that?
I wouldn't have had an issue if the box had some kind of scoring track around the outside, or the box was that big because there was a mat in, like a board in there, that was the scoring track that you move your piece around. Like, fine, okay, you need it to be that big. We need a board that, we need a score pad. I don't know, but it's not. It's just a pack of cards.
It needs a score track of some description,
do not let that deter you, because it is a great game.
Yeah, and it's good fun. I don't know if it's the greatest card ever made, like it says on the box.
It's a good card game.
It's a good card game.
But it's not a completely new idea. It's
not reinventing the wheel.
It's a reinvention of an old game. 21.
Yeah. It's not reinventing the wheel, but it's fun.
Yeah. And there's some take that in there. You can freeze people's rounds. You can make them pick up cards.
Yeah,
like Uno style type thing. And it's a decent game, and it's good fun. But put it in a box that's representative of what is in the box.
Exactly. We also have been playing the game that I want to eat the most that I've ever had in my life. Is Skippity.
Skippity.
We had a copy of Skippity sent in to get into Games HQ. I feel like I'm a CBeebies presenter. Happy birthday to... they say that. They send in the birthday cards, don't they? If you're not in the UK and you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say that. But anyway, Skippity is quite good fun. It's basically you are playing a game with fruit polos.
They do look like sweets.
It is a mix of Lacuna and Chinese checkers. You are basically doing with your fruit polos, you're jumping over other fruit polos to capture them, and then you put them on on the side facing you. And at the end of the game, once there's no more jumps that can be made, if you are winning the majority of colours, you win the game, just like Lacuna. So it's a really fun. The kids really enjoyed it. I think it's really fun. It's quite a nice kind of strategic thinking to try and do the most jumps you can. It's a nice abstract strategy game. That is definitely one for the whole family to enjoy. Available from the Dice Box. So pop down there to grab yourself a copy.
What?
Sorry, cross-branding. You can get them. We sell them. Anyway, Skippity's are really good.
Lots of other places sell them too.
Other places do too, yes. You might even be able to rent it through Rent, Shuffle and Roll. Who knows?
Yeah. We have also played quite a lot of Return to the Dark Tower.
Yes.
We've been trying to beat it because our friends Bradley, Greg and Katie... What's her... Katie... What's her...
Matthews?
No, what's her...
Katie Game Geek.
Katie Game Geek, yeah. On Instagram, played it and won instantly. And Craig and I are either very bad at this game or we are doing something wrong. Can never win against the game. So we then went on a bit of a roll. We played 2 or 3 games in a row to try to beat the game.
And we did.
We did win the last game we played of it.
Yes.
However, it felt like an empty win because there is a rule in Dark Tower whereby if it's not your kingdom, and it only applies in a 2-player game. So if it was a 4-player game, we would have lost because essentially the big bad destroyed all our buildings, therefore we would have got corruption. However, we didn't gain any corruption because the buildings were destroyed in the area that we didn't, we weren't the leaders of, the rulers of. So essentially, it was just lucky that the big bad attacked an area neither of us were in control of. But it didn't feel like a satisfying win.
Yeah. So that seems to be a bit of a thing with the 2-player game, because as you said, like if we were playing a 4-player game, we would have lost. That we wouldn't have won. There was no way we could have won that because we lost everything in that region.
Yeah.
So it feels like a hollow victory, and it's a victory, so I'm taking it. But it didn't feel like a satisfying win. It was like half a win. We were doing really well in the game, though.
Yeah.
So we potentially could have won.
Yeah. I just think it didn't seem so... I don't know, it just felt like a hollow victory because essentially we knew that as a 4-player team we would have lost.
Yeah.
I think we want to win on our own merits because we have defeated the big bad with our mighty army.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened.
Exactly. We've also been playing King of Tokyo Duel.
Oh, yes. I forgot
quite a few games of that. Yeah. It's quite nice. A nice 2-player variant of King of Tokyo.
I don't want to ever play against my shelf life, though.
No.
Apparently, he wins by smashing, and
I think
poor Susie never gets a look in.
I think it's one of those things. Yes, there is dice luck. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's that easy. I think every monster is asymmetrical, so there are some that are more suited to a different play style. And I think he plays as Mecha Dragon all the time, which is a very smashy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've never known it to be... They're the only people that I've known to have the game end in, 6 minutes.
Yeah, like, ours was back and forth. And
everyone else I've spoken to is back and forth, to be fair.
I think you won both games, I think. But it wasn't... I definitely didn't feel like it was a landslide victory.
No,
you had to
absolutely not. There. Yeah, because there's so many... what's really cool about it is there's slight differences on the dice. There's these things that you can have. You all get special abilities. There's an exclamation mark on the dice that gives you special abilities, which sometimes mean you can place extra these new things that slow down the other monsters or make your monster more powerful, give you extra dice. The buying the cards is a really cool mechanic. There's a row of 3 cards, and the third card is one energy cheaper.
Yeah.
But on your turn, if you decide not to buy any cards, you gain an energy. So you're actually saving up energy quicker to be able to buy those cards, to be able to use them more. There are punches, and there are multiple ways to win.
You have to win on both tracks, though, don't you?
Well, you have to win. You have to knock the other opponent out. You have to get both tracks into the highlighted spot, or one of the tracks all the way to the other end. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, really.
But I think I was umming and ahhing about whether it was necessary, because King of Tokyo to me is fine and it works at 2-player.
Yeah.
I can see the point of it. It's maybe quicker to set up because it's just a small box.
Yeah.
Easier to take out if you're just 2-player. You could take it to a, coffee or restaurant or whatever. And the back and forth thing makes it quite interesting because sometimes, in the other one you can just roll claws and you would kill your opponent. So, I like it. Yeah. I think there's a place for both.
Yeah, I think if we were playing 2, I probably wouldn't play normal King of Tokyo now.
No.
I would play Duel. I think Duel just makes more sense in that kind of thing. I mean, there's a lot of these Duel games that are like, are you really necessary? Maybe things like Quacks and Quedlinburg, as good a Duel game as it is, it's like, are you necessary? Yeah. Splendor, are you necessary? Whereas I think this one really is quite good, and it's a really nice kind of game to play.
We played our second game of Dominion. because we played Dominion years and years ago. When we were first got into the hobby, and we met up with some friends who were also board gamers, and they taught us Dominion. And I can't remember what I thought of it then, but I just thought, this is like okay, but I'm not really interested in it. I maybe didn't understand it, or maybe there were too many people playing at the time. Anyway, we played a game of it. We've now got the big box version with 2 sets, I think it's got in it. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun
it's
kind of what you build. You're building your Dominion, aren't you? But I actually maybe prefer it to Star Realms or something like that.
It's the OG deck building kind of thing, isn't it? You're buying cards to score points and that kind of thing. It's a really it's a lovely little game. I do enjoy it.
So we played that.
We're also like other little games that we've played recently. We played Deducto, which is like a bit of a mixture between Similo and Outfoxed, or like a bit like Hanabi. You have a card facing the other way, which is quite nice. We've been also playing some bonsai, which is tile laying, growing a bonsai plant, and some more Mists over Carcassonne. That kind of thing. So we've been playing quite a few nice. We've got Survive Escape the Island, which is the new version of Survive Escape Atlantis.
I think we had a couple of games days.
Yes.
Which were where we had one weekend where we just had games day and then a games evening, which were lovely. Then I think me probably more than you were a little bit like, let's watch a film or read a book or something, because it was just like, we played a lot of games. And I love playing games, and I'll play games all day long, but I felt like maybe we just chilled a little bit on. I think lots of things happening with Christmas.
Also, the thing I think is when you do have a games day and you play these games and you play loads of games at 4-player and stuff like that, and then you go to sit down to play at 2-player, it's kind of like, oh, where are the others gone? Oh, and is that kind of like getting that out of your system? Like, I've been playing these amazing epic 4-player games where it's been really touch and go, and we've been moving around and doing loads of stuff. And then when you go back to 2-player games, playing 2-player, it's kind of like, oh, it's just us. Your turn, my turn. Your turn, my turn.
Oh, you don't like playing with me?
No, I do. But when you've played with loads of people, it's like come down. It's like when you come down off of UKGE. It's like the next day you're like, where's all the people gone? Where's all the noise? I need the noise back in my life.
I think also it's a very busy time at school. Like last week we had parents' evening and all sorts. So just busy things going on, Christmas concerts, visits to Santa, all of that.
Absolutely.
All of that business. So I think get to the Christmas holidays and we'll be able to get some more games in. And maybe come the new year, I will start starting afresh.
Yeah. I think so. We'll see that when we do our next New Year's resolution episode next year. But what I was thinking is, what do you get? What do you want for Christmas?
What do I want for Christmas?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why are you asking me on the podcast?
I don't know. I was wondering if you wanted a board game. What board game would you want if I was going to buy you a board game?
See, I don't know. Right.
It's a tough decision, isn't it? Well, why don't you take that decision out of your own hands by getting 1 month rental from Rent, Shuffle and Roll? Because basically, if you use code GITG50, you'll get 50% off your first month rental with Rent, Shuffle and Roll. If you gift that subscription to someone lovely, they get to choose their own games and you get to take the weight off your shoulders and not worry about making a mistake. But what game do you want for your birthday?
I don't know, because we were actually talking about this the other day. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
And saying we're actually in a position where we've kind of got, at the moment...
We've completed it, mate.
No. We've kind of got to a point where we're like, quite happy with the games I've got. There are a few games that I think, maybe in the collection would be quite nice. We were talking about Project L. We played it at the Dice Box yesterday. Mm-hmm. It's nice. Do we need it? Probably not, but it's a good game to play. But I don't. If you ask me what board game I would want, I'm not sure at the minute. We're quite enjoying. Oh, we didn't mention that. We're doing the Exit Advent Calendar.
Oh yeah, that's been
now
fun.
I don't know, the last year, we didn't do it last year.
We didn't do it
did
last year.
Last year we said, no, we're not doing it.
Because the year before that, there was a lot of printing errors in the Advent calendar.
And we'd had such a good time the first time we did an Exit Advent calendar. And then the second time was just a bit lackluster, a bit like, I didn't really enjoy it.
We ended up we were missing pieces and there was printing errors and that kind of spoiled it.
You said, you told me what the title of this one was, which was the
missing actor situation.
The missing Hollywood star.
That's him.
And I thought, actually, that does sound quite interesting. And we've been doing it.
I saw lightsabers on the back of the box and went, I'll get that.
We've been doing it. And it mentions things like Ghostbusters, lightsabers, Alice in Wonderland, and it's right up our alley. Like, we absolutely love it. So I'm really enjoying it. So I'm hoping that it's going to be good throughout. And my love of Exit Advent Calendar is going to come back and because it is a great part. Like, you know, chocolate Advent calendars are great when you're a kid. But there isn't much around for adults Advent calendar wise. Otherwise, you get the wooden ones that you kind of use every year. But I really enjoy having a little puzzle to solve with you every day. As we go towards Christmas. So I'm really enjoying that, and I know lots of people on Instagram are also doing it and really enjoying it as well. So
I think I'm enjoying that. I think like games looking at Christmas, like there's some releases recently. Fromage looks good fun. After playing Creature Comforts, I kind of wouldn't mind jumping into Maple Valley. Just exploring the world of that a bit more. There's a few games out there, but there's nothing. I don't know if there's anything I'm particularly desperate for.
No, save up your money and see what comes next.
What money?
I don't know. Anyway, so this episode we thought we would. So we could have done a Christmas gift guide, but Craig kind of ruined that. Have you seen his?
I did nothing.
Story or Instagram reel? I'm not sure, but rather than a Christmas gift guide of the games that you should give to other people or gift to other people, we thought we'd do a top 10 games, each of us, on what you could play with your family at Christmas. So things we think that would go down well, that you've probably got in your house or you've got access to, but we really enjoy playing and they make Christmas a lot of fun.
Games that are playable with the whole family. So Nan can play it all the way down to Little children. 3-foot children. Or shorter.
I've kind of
2 foot.
I've kind of taken my family who they like a board game, but they also like to kind of sit back after Christmas dinner. They don't want to be sitting playing a 4-hour board game. So I've kind of gone with them as my demographic for Christmas games. Kind of things that people can enjoy, but it's not rules heavy. They can have had a drink and still play it, and everybody can have fun. It's not too taxing on anybody.
Yes, I've kind of gone for the same.
Okay, great. And this will work out
Ish.
well. Okay. We shall see. I don't know what Craig has put on his list. He does know what I put on mine because he asked me to read it out to him so he could get some ideas for his. So he's probably gone with the complete opposite of what I've gone with.
Probably. Who knows? Who's going first? Me or you?
I'll go first.
I think you should.
Okay, so the first game on my... Now, these aren't in any particular order. They're just 10 random games. So the first game I think always goes quite well is Herd Mentality. Everybody can be sitting in their chairs and you can call out, I'll give you an example of a Herd Mentality card. Favourite crisp flavour.
Best flavoured crisp or something like that.
Everybody writes down theirs and then, so say 3 people have said salt and vinegar. They're in agreement. That's the Herd Mentality. Somebody says cheese and onion. They get the pink pig.
Cow.
I don't, because it's pink. It always reminds me of a pig. Pink cow. And then whilst you've got the pink cow, you can't win the game.
Yeah, even if you've got the most points, if you've got the pink cow in front of you, you cannot win. There is a movie one, which has got a gold cow in it. That looks really cool.
The reason I like herd mentality is because it's not about trivia.
No.
So it's not about you knowing the right answers. It's about your opinion on things. So then there's no kind of, nobody's thinking, oh, but I'm no good at trivia. I can't do that. Gran can say what they like. Kids can guess. It's very inclusive in that way, and everybody can join in after Christmas dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, Craig's changing his list.
Yeah.
He's just thought of new games.
I just took Blood on the Clock Tower off. No.
Oh!
Blood on the Clock Tower
is not suitable for a family.
It is suitable for all the family, no matter what. So, my number one choice. Yeah, as in my first choice. That is my number one choice. It's my first choice. It's not my number one choice.
Well, you said number one.
Okay, my first choice is going to be Survive Escape the Island.
Oh, okay.
Or Survive Escape Atlantis, either or. Yes, it's a 4-player game. It's quite fun. It's fun for the family. You can play along with the kids or let them play. It's a memory game of trying to remember where you've put your numbers, as well as trying to rescue them and then move around. It's such a silly game. It's a lot of take that, but it's not like an annoying take that. It's like a really stupid, silly thing. Like, oh, I've been eaten by a giant shark. Oh, Godzilla's chased me off on a whatever. It's a really nicely produced, really straightforward game that you can kind of guide people through as you're playing it, as long as one person kind of knows how to.
But it's repetitive, isn't it? So, you
move a person. You've got 3 moves.
People,
yeah.
Then you take a
flip a tile, roll a dice,
and then you roll the dice. So once you've seen that happen, 2 or 3, 4 times, you know what's going to happen next, so people can then join it.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, it's a really fun experience that you don't take too serious. 1 time out of 10, you take it far too seriously. But yes,
isn't that the nature with all games?
That's the nature of the BS.
So my next game on my list is a game that we've recently come to, but I think it's been out for ages. Is Ghost Blitz.
Yeah.
So have we talked about this before on the podcast? I'm not sure. So this is a game that we've also been playing a lot. There are 5 objects. So there is a red chair, a white ghost, a green bottle, a blue book,
and a grey mouse.
And essentially you turn over a card, and on that card, either there's going to be a combination of those items. Sometimes the item is there, so it's an exact replica. So you might have a blue ghost with a green bottle on its head. So you would grab the green bottle.
Yep.
Sometimes the object is doesn't match. So you might have a blue chair and a green mouse, and you would have to work out which colours.
What's missing, which would be the white ghost in that example,
And it's a brain burner, but eventually your brain sort of picks it out without you even knowing it.
Yeah.
So the rule says you just grab for something, and if it's right, then you obviously get the item. And then once you've touched an object, you can't then go and touch a different one if you've decided it's wrong.
Basically, you've got chess rules.
So, even if you got 5 people around the table, and a couple of people can't quite work out the card, they can grab for something, and then hopefully a couple of times they will get the card. But it's good fun. I've played it with children at school, and it goes down really well. Adults like it as well.
It's a really good thinky, fun little game. Okay, my next choice is very accessible to most people, but not all people, but most people. My choice is Hughes and Hughes.
Oh.
Now, Hughes and Hughes is great because, 1, it plays with a huge amount of players. I think it's a 10-player game.
Is it?
10 or 12.
Wow.
Plays with a huge amount of players. And it's all about just colour. So you'll have a card that'll have a colour, then you'll give, which is on a massive B&Q style paint grid. again, that's a reference that if you're not from the UK, probably not going to understand. Anyway,
They probably have paint with.
they don't have paint in other countries.
No paint in other countries.
No, UK is the only place in the world
Wow.
where we paint walls.
Okay.
That's an official thing.
You heard it here first.
That's true. That's a truth. Anyway, so then you will say something like flamingo, and everyone has to guess what kind of colour that is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you're colourblind, sorry, it's not the game for you, really. Because some of the shades are very close, and it's that. Yeah. That's the only thing. But if you're going into a game called Hues and Cues, you know that that's not really going to be ideal for someone with colour blindness. So that's the only negative about the game, but also it's the only thing about the game that it is colour is the game.
Yeah.
So you're not going to buy that game if you are. If you can't see colours, the shades of colours very well.
It's a good party game, and lots of people can get involved, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can have like fun arguments about it. It's like, how do you not know that the canary's this colour and whatever? Yeah. So it's a lot of fun, hilarity.
Well, funny you should say that, but the third one on my list is exactly the same game, Hues and Cues.
Did you say that?
No, I haven't said it yet, but I have got it on my list.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise you put it on your list.
Yes.
I obviously wasn't listening to you when you told me.
I just think it's a good one for lots of people. And again, my family like to sit back after Christmas dinner and kind of things, but you can put it out on the table and they can look. Or I imagine you could say something and then people can be getting up and walking around, having a drink and discussing it. And you could take your time with it. There need be no rush, as it were. And kids can play it too. Yeah, it's very accessible unless you are colourblind.
Yeah. Okay, so me again.
Yeah.
Run my next one then. Just check that you haven't written this one down either. No, that's fine. My next one is Bang Out of Order from Gamely Games. I really enjoy this game. It's like what was that game that we used to play back in the day during the war?
Wild Guess.
Wild Guess, yeah. So basically, you'll have two cards. You'll have Infinity and Zero, and you start playing in teams, and you're playing cards down. So there'll be a seed card in the middle, but it might be something like Shark Teeth, and then you start playing cards that are higher and lower. And at some point, one of the members of the team can say, "That's bang out of order." And essentially, if you flip over the cards and get the results and make sure you've got them. If you get all the numbers in the right order and you've placed them in the right place, when someone said bang out of order, then you score a point. If someone says bang out of order and one of the cards is out of order, they score a point. Mm-hmm. It's a really simple game. Again, easy rule set. Has those kind of similarities to games that older gamers like your parents and stuff like that would have.
Yeah, like
they
trivia,
would have played those games
trivia
before.
Games go down well, don't they?
And it's trivia, but it's also not. I know exactly.
No,
I know the exact answer to this question. I know exactly how long.
Yeah, because everybody knows that one person in their family who
your mum. Everyone knows your mum. Do they?
They know the answer to everything. You know what language is spoken in this country, capital cities. And there's, I can't win this because I forget things. Yeah. So it kind of opens the doors to some interpretation, which is quite nice. In a trivia game. I've just thought of John Gracie's game.
Yeah, who knew it?
Is that what it's called?
It? Yeah.
I don't know what it was called, but yeah. Is that out for Christmas? Because that would be quite good. Oh, that would be good. Anyway. My next game, and I think it applies to pretty much any Habba game going, because Habba games on the side of the box have from usually say something like 8 to 99. So, pick your Habba game of your choice. But the Habba game that I've chosen, which I think would be a great one for Christmas Day, probably Boxing Day, is Rhino Hero, where you are building. We've got Rhino Hero Super Battle, which I think is even better than the original. Where you're building up stacks of cards, a bit like the old playing card. towers,
House of Cards.
and your rhino hero moves up and you battle each other and you're trying to be the top one at the tower before the whole thing falls down.
Yeah.
And I think those kind of games, because the kids will love them, the adults will have a lot of fun as well. And, trying to create the biggest stack you can on Boxing Day just seems like a fun, good thing to do.
And also, it's good because it's quiet Jenga.
Yeah.
So when it falls down, it doesn't make an awful crash.
And then you can just play it again and have another go.
Exactly.
And then the adults can leave the kids playing it and have a drink. And the children are, well away. They might even want to play the game. They might just want to stack the thing up and try and build it and that is absolutely fun on Christmas Day because there are no rules.
There are no rules.
So yeah, that's one I think is a good one to get out and possibly will come out on our Christmas Day.
Okay, this next one is 2 games.
Well, that seems like cheating.
Yep. But they're together because of their similarities to each other.
Oh, I've got 2 of those.
So, good. See,
hope it's not
that
the same
sounds
thing.
like cheating to me. No.
Who's checking the list?
So mine is Cheese Thief.
Oh, yeah.
And The Crooked Crown.
Yeah.
So Cheese Thief by Jolly...
Cheese Thief? Can you say Cheese Thief?
Cheese Thief, I just said that.
It sounded like you said Cheese Thief.
Cheese Thief. Cheese Thief by Jolly Thinkers.
Jolly Thinkers.
Is a game where you're essentially rolling a dice and you wake up and you're stealing a spongy cheese from the middle. And then you have to work out and deduce through questioning who's the person who stole the cheese. Crooked Crown is a game where the Goblin King is dead and you are trying to steal the crown to become the new Goblin King. And you're basically stealing. You're playing cards that can do different things. You can either steal cards, look at cards, reduce people's hand limit, increase your own hand limit, that kind of thing. So you're basically taking cards and playing cards to do that sort of stuff. And they're very similar light deduction games.
Yeah.
But again, can be played through the whole family. So that's Cheatwell Games and Jolly Thinkers.
And our 4-year-old can teach Cheese Thief. So...
And Crooked Crown.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In fact, she did online.
My next game, I was going to say our because we always play this at Christmas.
Yeah, it's true.
So we have the Christmas version of Don't Get Got.
Yeah.
And the kids love it and they're always asking, when do we get the cards? When do we get our cards? And then they like to try and get us, which is quite funny. For anybody who doesn't know what Don't Get Got is, there is a normal version, there is a Christmas version. Essentially, you have cards that say, make someone take the last Brussels sprout, or hide a present under the tree and make someone get the last present, or
stick a piece of wrapping paper to you and then get someone to notice it, kind of thing.
Get someone to open the microwave and say Merry Christmas or whatever it is.
Yeah. And
they have to do these things without realizing that you're trying to trick them into doing it. And it's hilarious. And now that the kids are both kids are probably at an age where they can do their own if one of us helps them. It's just very funny. It lasts, the whole of the day.
You want it to, yeah. It's a game that just
you can have like 10 cards for the day and then see how many you can get rid of by the end.
Yeah. It's good fun.
It is good fun, and it does come out every Christmas.
Yes. My next choice is a newer game, and hecka confusing. So it's going hecka confusing.
That doesn't sound good for Christmas.
It's going to be confusing. I think some of the people, my mother would struggle. It's a game called Things in Rings. We struggle with Things in Rings. Things in Rings essentially is a game where you are trying to guess what the thing in the ring is, and you're basically playing. There's a thing,
isn't it?
Yeah.
For a game that's about things in rings, it's called Things in Rings.
You'll have a seed card, and then you'll have like a Venn diagram on the table where you're putting clues to try and guess what the seed card is, what the card is about, and you're trying to work together to try and be the first person to get the thing. And it's got a very Dr. Seuss kind of vibe to it. The artwork's very Dr. Seuss. All the writing is. It's a really nice game. It sits in the in the codename stratosphere of games.
Codenames is another one that would work for Christmas.
Well,
really.
just wait until the next one comes on my list.
Okay. So my next, well, I've put 2, but I think they're essentially the same game.
Oh, that seems like cheating to
different versions. So we've got Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza.
Yep.
Which
or Santa Cookie Elf Reindeer Snowman.
Yeah. So you are trying to get snaps. So, well, you have to say Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza if you lay down cards. If you say the one that you turned over, so say you turned over a taco and you say taco, then you have to slam your hand down and the last one has to pick up all the cards. But there are also things like Gorilla where you have to bang your chest and things, and it's hilarious. And then we just been introduced to Ninja Hamster Apocalypse Disco, which is a party snail game, and is a similar thing where you're trying to match hamsters, but there are...
Yeah, you're either trying to match the hamster or match the background.
Yeah, there are different ninja hamsters where essentially you do the same thing as the gorilla thing and you have to do an action like a hiya! Yeah. And those kind of games kids love, adults like to... it's good as a drinking game or a children's game. It works well with whoever...
Ninja Hamster Apocalypse Disco is brand new out from Party Snail Games. They've done things like Jungle Hustle and Snaptastic, and they're really good party games. That's sort of same as that Gamely Game kind of vibe to them. Really nice, really fun artwork, and just really accessible games. So, Party Snail Games is a company that I would definitely recommend checking out, following them on the old socials.
If you are going to play Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza or Ninja Hamster Apocalypse Disco, just be careful because I have known people who have broken their fingers.
Yeah.
I have actually caused somebody else to draw blood while they were playing the game. And somebody told me they played it at the weekend and somebody fainted because they cut their finger. So
nice.
It's a dangerous game.
Yep.
It's good fun though.
My next one is actually Codenames. I think Codenames is a classic. It's in the realms now of your Pandemics, your Catans, and your Colt Expresses, and your Ticket to Rides. Codenames is just an essential in all collections. I think it's giving a grid. You've got a grid of words. You're trying to give clues to make sure you can find get your spies back out of the field without finding the assassin and without killing too many randoms. But yeah, it's a great game. There's a duet version for 2 players. There's a picture version. There's a Disney version. There's hundreds of versions, but it's excellent. So
you just
that
reminded me of a game where I want for Christmas.
What is it?
Sniper Elite.
Oh, Sniper Elite. Yeah, wishful thinking.
Yeah, I know you can't get it at the minute.
It's like rocking horse poo to find.
But to me, that's better than Whitehall.
Ooh.
But yeah. My next game is, we've already mentioned it today, but I would put it in the games to play at Christmas, and that is Flip 7. I think it's easily accessible. You could actually play it around the Christmas dinner table while you're waiting for the pudding to come out. Everybody can play it. It's not that difficult. Somebody just needs to sort of run the game, and then everybody can have a go, and I think it would be good fun.
Yes. This one's a little bit more of a step up. Ooh. This is Hit the Silk.
Oh, you playing that with Grandma?
I would play that with Grandma.
Would you?
I would throw Grandma off the plane. She is getting thrown off the plane. Hit the Silk is more of a most probably the most gamery game one, but it's just such a silly, fun thing that you can just play. I think it is accessible to anyone, maybe not Grandma. It just depends on how with it Grandma is after one or two shares. That's also true. So that's fine. But Hit the Silk is basically you're trying to get money together to pay off your mob debts, but you're in a plane that's rapidly crashing. So every card you play and everything you do, the plane is descending. There's cards where you can do attack people with knives to steal their cards. You can do kung fu to knock people's knives out of their hand. You can poison people. You can hide antidotes. You can use a key to unlock a secret lockbox. There's only limited parachutes. So if you're playing, for example, if you're playing with 4 players, there's only 3 parachutes. So someone's not going to get off with a parachute. There's a pilot's license. It's just a really fun, really silly game that you just have to just go into.
Act it up.
Ham it up completely. It's a movie in a box, and you have to be the star of that film that you're creating. And
I think
it's
like
brilliant.
Stop the Train, isn't it?
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
My next game is a dexterity game, I would say, and it's one where we actually had my dad make the board for it.
Yeah.
And it's tumbling dice. So everybody has 4 dice of a colour.
Yep.
So you need lots of sets of dice, but most of us gamers have lots of sets of dice that we could find throughout the house. And you roll your dice down a step. There's it's kind of like steps, isn't it? And you're trying to score the most points. So the first step is only worth 1 point to the bottom.
Yeah, it's
one,
it's multiplications, isn't it?
So if you rolled a 6 on the first step, it would be 6 times 1. But if you rolled it on the 4th step, it would be 6 times 4, 24. And I think, when everybody's had their Christmas dinner, want to be moving a little bit, but it's not too onerous. Yeah. I was thinking something like Shanti, but that's only 2 players kind of thing. But, something that people can get behind, you can cheer each other on. You can play family against family if you've got 2 families around.
That's the thing. Tumbling dice works at 2 players, 3 players, 4 players, 5 players, 6 players. It doesn't matter because
the kids can have a go and you can add it up for them. It's everyone can play. So I think that is a good one.
It is a good choice. My next one is I did have Flip 7, so I'm going to I've deleted that one off.
Oh, he's not allowing Flip 7 at Christmas.
No way. But I did have it, and it was good, and I think it's a perfect choice. But I've gone with Quick Stop. Quick Stop is a quick card game, a bit like Piers Pizza in its own
Imagine
little way.
If it was slow.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
Quick Stop is a slow game.
It's basically, you'll turn over a card. And it'll say hard things or something random, and then you have letters in your hands. One? I was looking at the cat. I was thinking, he looks hard.
Oh my gosh!
He's just rolled on. He's going to eat that bit of Lego, I think. Anyway, so he is actually. Oi! We interrupt this podcast for a cat trying to kill itself.
Okay,
anyway,
I've retrieved the Lego.
That's wonderful. So he's not going to kill himself now, but that's good. But yeah, Quick Stop, basically you'll have something that'll say something hard, and you'll throw down an L and it'll be like Lego. I throw down a P and it'll be like what?
Stop right there.
Polyjuice potion bottle.
Oh, of course, that was
that's
what you were
I was going to say. Yeah. So and you've got to do it, and you've got to do it quickly. Obviously because of the quick. And then once you've done a certain amount, add the number of stars up, and you want to be the person with the least stars. Proper 6-nimped style. Speaking of 6-nimped, great choice for a Christmas.
Yes, actually, and I didn't even put that
game.
on the list.
Well, I've just mentioned it, so don't worry about listing it.
So, the last game I've got on my list, because the one I'm going to finish on isn't a game. But I really like at a higher player count. I'm not sure I get it at 2 players, but for a higher player count, I think it's really good. And that is Sakana Stack. So it's a trick-taking game set in a fish market.
Yes.
And it's a small box game, so it's great if you're, going around to multiple people's houses on Christmas Day, Boxing Day, going around. It's not going to take up very much space, and you can take it with you. And, from what I've seen of the bigger games of it, hilarity ensues, and people are trying to take tricks, trying to get those magic kind of where you've used a load of ones or whatever, trying to get those magic kind of moments.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be really good fun for Christmas Day.
It would be fun for Christmas Day. My next one is, again, one of those trivia ones where you don't need to know the answers. You just need to know the person that does know the answers. And that is Wits and Wagers.
Oh.
So Wits and Wagers is very similar to You Know It, the game by John Gracie. The principle is you basically have a question, and they're those impossible kind of crazy questions anyway.
Yeah.
Then everyone writes their answers down, and they put their answers down, and then basically what you're doing is you're betting on other people's answers, on which ones you think. You basically put the order. The answers are normally numbers, and they're like in an order, and then you'll put chips down and bet, and then you win based on your bets. So it's not about knowing the right answers and the right bits of trivia. It's about knowing who knows what, or who you think might know these impossible to ask questions. It's really good fun. Yeah, I really enjoy it. There's a really nice version online, but it's nice. Yeah,
it's nice.
But it's nice.
It's nice.
It's nice, isn't it?
The last game that I have put on my list,
is
and
Blood
I
on
think
the Clock Tower.
No, because I don't think that's good for Christmas.
All right then.
It's not got the vibe I'm looking for.
Sorry.
So, if all else fails, and the people you found yourself with don't really want to play a board game as such, aren't interested in trick-taking games, don't want to be dexterous and up and out of their seats, I think that time well spent with family solving puzzles of an exit game style would be a good afternoon well spent. So, the exit games are one type of those. There's loads of escape room type games.
Yeah, like the unlock games.
And the unlock games. I think, pick one of those and have everybody sit round with a cup of tea, mulled wine, Bucks Fizz, whatever. Maybe even in the evening, you could have a sit round and solve some puzzles together. The great thing about the exit games is they come in a small box. Well, we've got one that's like a massive jigsaw one, isn't it? But you can pass the puzzles round, have a look at. You can have a chat while people are exploring the puzzles. I know you're supposed to do it in a time, but you can take your time. And I think Grandma might like to.
She might.
To get her Miss Marple out and start
Murder She
investigating.
Wrote. That's
or a couple of you can be doing it, and people can be chipping in to what they think if they don't want to join in fully. Yeah. I think that's another way of getting, your family into.
I agree.
Board games.
My last one, very similar to you, and it's relaxing. You can sit back and enjoy and chill. It's Twister. It's not Twister. It's not Twister.
Come on.
It's sexy Twister. No, it's 3D Twister, where you have two Twister boards. You have one butted up against a wall, and the other one is blue tacked to the wall. So
that's not a thing. You've just made up a game.
And then you have to like dangle upside down and put your leg up a wall. No, people play that.
Wow.
It's a drinking game. And they do it at student places where young people go, but not me. My last choice is Wavelength.
Nice.
I really like Wavelength. Again, it's one of those trivia but not trivia kind of things. There'll be a question like hottest to coldest, and then someone on the team will move this magical dial to where the magical dial will move, and it'll be it's slightly towards hot, so you might go a warm drink. You might think of something like a cup of tea with milk, and then that's not the hottest of hot, because the hottest of hot is like lava.
Boiling water.
Yeah, boiling water. Lava water. Satan's faucet. Yeah, and it's just a really nice quizzy game where you can go back and forth in teams. Again, it's quite chilled. You can sit down. One person can control the dial on the team. It's quite a nice, easy game to play. So that is our 10 picks for each. That's 20 games there for festive time.
You know what?
What?
I know you've already done the ad reel,
Yeah.
But if you weren't sure whether your family would like these games,
Yeah.
you could possibly rent these games.
You could.
And have them for Christmas. Use your month over Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
It makes
closing
sense.
date on.
Soon, one would imagine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or you might have missed it for Christmas. But you'll have to do
TG50, New Year's Eve.
New
Year's Eve party.
I don't know.
Discotheque. Anyway, yeah, that's what we would suggest, using code GITG50 to get 50% off of a month of rinse, shuffling, and rolling.
I think if you're having a party or you're having family round, I would grab a few different things and then see how people are feeling.
Yeah. Exactly.
During the day, but things like Don't Get Got can be played during the day.
Yeah.
And then some of the trivia ones maybe in the evening, finishing off with a unlock puzzle or something like that. So, board game menu.
I beat you to it, so you have to do yours first.
Okay, I can do that.
Good.
So, my starter is Don't Get Got, because that is played before Christmas dinner.
That's more like a drink.
During Christmas dinner, the main course.
Oh.
The main course.
The main party of game.
I mean, I don't think you really want a big game for Christmas.
What would be the main game you'd play?
I might go with. So during the main course, you could play Flip 7, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
While you're waiting for different, so maybe.
So you're doing the menu is during the courses of dinner.
Well, Don't Get Got is kind of while you're waiting for the turkey to cook, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Then Flip 7 is you've eaten your main course and you're having a break before you do your crackers, etc. And then I think I'm going with. I'm going to steal one off of your list.
Rude.
I'm going to go with Wavelength in the evening when you're sitting down with, I don't know, a hot chocolate and your selection box.
Nice.
And you're doing some trivia. What about you?
Well, I'm not going to use Wavelength anymore.
Oh, well, you can use it too.
No, that's not how menus work.
What? Nobody can have the same menu?
My starter's going to be bang out of order to get everyone's head thinking, working.
When is this happening on Christmas Day? I need to know.
At some.
Is this after you've eaten?
2:14. 2:14 in the afternoon.
Just after you
bang out of order.
No, just before you watch the
Queen's speech.
King's speech.
At 4:16.
Oh wow! Okay.
We're going to be playing a game of Wits and Wagers.
Wits and Wagers.
Wits and 4:16.
Right.
And at 6:45.
Yeah.
We will play a game of Hues and Cues.
Okay. Sounds fun.
That's a nice. Again, it's a city downy type of.
Yeah.
Plonk your thing down. But yeah, they're probably what I would go for on my Festivemas
Excellente
party. And that's it. Let us know what kind of games you would play during the festive period and during your Christmas day.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. Leave some 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
Leave a comment in the comment box. If you're listening on the Apple podcast, you can type a nice little review as you leave those 5-star reviews, not 4 stars.
We only accept 5 stars.
We only accept 5 stars, even though there is a 4, and that was sad. I don't know why that's happened. But anyway, yeah, leave those reviews on the Spotify's. That would be great. Give us a follow on at Mrs_Get_Into_Games and Get Into Games over on Instagram. I am on all of the social medias of Get Into Games. I'm Get Into Games on X. I'm Get Into Games on Blue Sky. I'm Get Into Games. I'm Get Into Games. I'm Get Into Games on the Chicken and the Talk. Get Into Games on the YouTube. I'm Get Into Games on Twitch. Don't stream, but I have a Twitch account. And I have a Vero account. I don't know.
Oh, it's one of them.
It's rubbish. It's just rubbish.
Wow.
But people went over to it because Instagram was being a pain a while back, and then people didn't.
Fair enough.
Anyway, that's me. Thanks for listening. This has been a wonderful episode again of the podcast. And yeah, I hope you all have a lovely Christmas. Hopefully we'll have another episode next week. about something.
Yes. We might have a guest.
We might have a guest
Never
next
guessed.
week, and we might be talking about tumbling dice again.
Are we? Oh, yeah, maybe.
We might be mentioning that game.
See if you can
and
guess
others.
what the podcast will be about from
these games.
clues.
What, go on then. Tumbling dice.
Tumbling dice. Trekking through history.
Monsters outnumbered.
Oh. Take it to the limit.
Oh, blood on the... No.
I mean, I think...
Can't go. Mahe. No, can't go.
Can't go.
Not John's game.
Can't stop.
Can't stop. And Mahe would be good shouts, I think.
Yeah.
I would also say...
So many.
There is all of them. All of the board games.
I want to hear what you think the podcast
But what do you
about.
think the podcast is going to be about next week? Other clue, Craig's going to be out of his depth. So,
Whoop, whoop.
So,
The lady is taking over.
I'm not even going to do the intro next week.
You're going to let the guest do it?
No, you.
Oh, okay.
You're the guest.
Oh.
Anyway, thank you for listening to this podcast. And remember to get into your stockings. Get into your stockings and suspenders. Ooh, so fancy.
And remember
to jingle your bells.
Okay.
Rebecca.
Okay, stop lowering the tone.
All right, then.
Remember to...
Whip out your baubles.
Remember to...
Stuff that turkey.
Stuff?
Touch them breasts.
No, right. Remember to get into games.
Get into games. Touch the breasts.